Hello, welcome everyone. I'm thrilled to be hosting music educator, choreographer, and author John Jacobson. Millions already know John, but just in case you don't, he's recognized internationally for all his work in a lot of large scale productions like for Disney and the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, believe it or not. He's all over YouTube with his dance videos and hundreds of musicals and choral publications. And music educators, you thrive on his music teaching curriculum. They're fantastic. He's also very important, also founder and acting president of America Sings, which is a nonprofit organization that encourages young performers to use their time and all their talents for community service. John is big on community service, and I'm sure you'll talk about that. There's a lot that he's going to talk to us about today. So welcome, John, and thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Greg. I'm so happy to be here. We've been friends for a long time, and it's fun to see you, even if it's on Zoom.
I know, right? It's been a while. We're all just so isolated right now, but this is awesome. Okay, I've given everybody a little taste, of what you do and what you continue to do. But I really would like for you to tell everybody what has led you to the place you are today. So I guess my question is, where do you come from and where have you been?
What planet did you come from?
Yeah.
And when are you going back?
Yeah, right.
I grew up in Wisconsin, a little tiny town, just 900 people. And my father was the superintendent of schools, and my mother was the fifth grade teacher. And I have 9 brothers and sisters, so there are 10 of us. And I think my dad felt it was his personal responsibility to fill the school. There were a lot of us. And when all of my siblings were school teaching, that was what the family did. And my dad was also one of 10 kids, and all of his siblings were teachers. So in our family, being educators was it's like a disease. It's just something that you do. And for me, I particularly liked music. So if I'm going to be a teacher, I might as well be a music teacher, was my earliest thoughts. I got a little bit sidetracked in that. And when I was 15 or 16 years old, I started making my living as a song and dance guy. We had in Wisconsin, we had a group called Kids from Wisconsin, which was like an all-stage show choir kind of thing. And then I went worked my way through college, singing and dancing at Disney World as part of their, live cast. They had a group called the All-American College Singers, and I did that and was enrolled at the University of Wisconsin as a music ed major. But I would go to Disney World in the summers to sing and dance. So I had it all wrong. I was in Florida in the summer and Wisconsin in the winter. But when I finished college, I did my student teaching. I taught K through 12 vocal music and K through 6 instrumental music. There are some of the worst saxophone players in America in Barneveld, Wisconsin today because of my teaching. But I doubt that. Anyway, so when I finished college, Disney hired me full time. So I got a little bit away from education for a while. I was doing performing. And then I think because of my education background, they quickly recognized that I would also probably be a good one to help teach other singers and dancers that came and worked there. So I kind of became everybody's assistant at Disney World, and which was great training for me because I happened to work with a lot of choreographers and show directors who also happened to be really good teachers. So they passed along, I learned from their methods of teaching. And I came, then you sort of develop your own style as a choreographer and a stage director, gleaning from all these wonderful people that I got to work with. So when it was time, I spent almost 10 years working for Disney in a lot of different capacities: singing, dancing, choreographing, show directing, Disney World, Disneyland, Tokyo Disneyland, Radio City Music Hall, a lot of those wherever Disney was, half times of football games and that kind of thing. We did that. So let's see. So
you have a doctorate in Disney.
Pretty much.
Disney.
Mickey Mouse paid my rent for a lot of years. I'll tell you that. So I have some empathy for all of that, and a fondness for my years there. I think I was at Disney when they didn't make much money, but it was really fun to work there. Now it's a different place, I think, than it was when I worked there. But I loved it every day. But I did, when I left there, I did want to get back into teaching at some level. And there used to be a guy, he's not living any longer, but older teachers might know the name Fred Waring. And Fred Waring hired me right out of Disney just to do a summer workshop at Penn State University. They would have about 6 weeks of summer workshops, mostly for music teachers. And so I left Disney and I went there just for those 6 weeks. And I met lots of music educators from around the country. And I spent the next number of years, those teachers inviting me to come to their schools to work with their kids, stage their musicals, stage their show choirs. All of a sudden I had this unplanned career that was a great combination for me of kind of my professional entertainment experience and my education background. So I was sort of back in the education world, but using my showbiz stuff in a school setting. And it just fit me. So
isn't it nice when you feel at home with what you do? Like you just enjoy it. That's amazing. And you're learning while you do it. You're learning. You're going to school.
And as I know, for me as a performer, you've done a lot of performing too, Greg. And I know for me, I always loved rehearsal almost more than I liked the performance. I was the kid who wanted to do it over and over and over. Let's do that dance again. Let's do it again. You know, I loved it. And on the performance, you kind of do it once and then it's kind of done. So being that I loved rehearsal, I wanted to spend more time in rehearsal. And that's what you kind of do as a teacher. So
right. Well, we spend all the time rehearsing. I mean, it's good to enjoy it and know how to do it. When you talk about performing, I always like being in the background. I think that's why I like being a background singer. But I was always like one of the leads in the musical in high school. But I realized this the other day. My most fond memory of one of the musicals was Sound of Music, and I played Max Detweiler. But my favorite part was I was backstage and I shook the metal to make the thunder and lightning for a scene that I wasn't in for my favorite things or whatever. And I just remember that tells you a whole lot about me. I really do like being in the back, and I like the rehearsal part and all of that because the performance is so fleeting, you know.
Exactly right. So I always, when I'm working with kids particularly, I always try to encourage them to find the joy in rehearsal, because you're going to spend a heck of a lot more time in rehearsal than you are in front of an audience. So if the only thing you like is being in front of an audience, then you've spent a lot of time doing something you're not really happy doing, just for those few minutes of sparkle.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Wow.
Well, so I did a workshop at Ohio State University. I was probably about, in my early 20s or mid 20s. And they had asked me to do a workshop for kids in this huge auditorium. And it was supposed to be about movement. And a guy there was from Stanton's Music. And he saw me do this workshop. He said, why don't you write something about what you do? Write like a book about how you do this. And so I went home, thought, okay, I'll try that. And I wrote a little book called Putting on the Glitz. And it was just little hints about what you might do to help stage, like a show choir or a swing choir, or whatever, things you might do with costuming or lighting or anything. So I put that on, and it was published by Jensen Publication back at that time. And from then on, I got involved in the publishing part of our industry as well. So now I'm doing entertainment, teaching, and publishing. And so I've done that forever.
That's great. Can someone buy Putting on the Glitz still?
Well, I've got about 12 copies now. No, I don't think so. I think that's pretty much out of print.
Need a second edition, maybe. But
really.
That's awesome. I just love the idea. Yeah, but I just love the idea of anybody, especially in the music world. It's like, take the idea and do it. Do something. And I tell kids that. I go, if you've got an idea, do it, try it. Somebody wanted it. And then it leads you different ways, which that one little book did.
Well, because then you've got, people, when you're published, they think you know something. So it gives you some authority. And so then people might want you to come and teach or preach or whatever. So, and one thing grows into another, then I ended up judging festivals, or, those sorts of things. They lead to other things.
What are you very busy with right now? I know we're going to talk about something first, but in general, before we get to your t-shirt, what have you, like in the past, like in the last 10 years, you've been mostly publishing, writing? I know
Well,
you've been an author.
Yeah, I would say for the last 10 years, my life has been mostly a combination of writing and of teaching, doing guest artist kinds of things. I wrote for almost 30 years for Hal Leonard Corporation, lots of musicals. And we had a magazine called John Jacobson's Music Express that was in existence for 19 years. So that was a lot of scripts and lessons and videos and that sort of thing. Kept me very busy, and I absolutely loved it, because it gave me an opportunity to get into a lot of classrooms, sort of virtually. Long before the pandemic, we were doing those sorts of virtual things, helping teachers out through Music Express. That was great, and I loved it. I loved every bit of it, and I love working with collaborators. I've always been, in my publishing world, I can't do anything by myself, to tell you the truth. You don't have to tell anybody that, but I like working with my friends, like yourself, like Roger Emerson, like Mac Huff, like Rollo Dilworth, like Moses Hogan, Emily Crocker, Christine Miller. These are my friends that I get to collaborate with on things, and I love the whole process of collaboration. So the last 10 years, I would say that I've spent a lot of time collaborating on these kinds of projects with my pals.
Yeah, that's great. And I know teachers loved your Music Express. I mean, you saved a lot of teachers when they didn't know what to do, or brand new teachers. It was all right there. Just do the curriculum and you'd be a winner.
Thanks. I took the credit for a lot of people's hard work. I mean, I was glad to be in the room when it happened. I was glad to be a part of the whole process, but that was the real strength, I believe, of Music Express, was that that all these people, many of the ones that I just mentioned and more, were contributing to this and bringing their best ideas and just trying to create something that would really, really help teachers and thereby their students.
Yeah, it's like building a house. It is not one person that builds a house. It is a lot of experts that put their energy into the house and build a great house, which that product was a great.
And then,
Yep.
Yeah. And then, a big part of the job then was to go out and show people how to use it. So you and I and others would travel around, mostly in the summer, and do a lot of state conventions and do a lot of workshops in the summer when we could all get together and show them how to, the new stuff that we've been working on.
Right.
It's always fun.
I hope that comes back. We'll see. I think it's been a little bit before we can do that, but I know teachers would love to be in the same room with everyone and be able to collaborate and talk and learn from each other, which leads me to what's on your shirt. You have a brand new company and product, and I want to hear all about it. I love the name JJ and Me, which actually kind of means John Jacobson Music Experience. Very smart. So tell us all about this new endeavor.
Now, first of all, I probably gave about 3 minutes thought to the name, but it worked out. It sort of seemed right, because it does sort of mean JJ, me, and my friends, my students. Me, they're with me all the time. And then yes, Music Experience. Hal Leonard decided to go a different direction after Music Express, and it did not include me. And so I still wanted to do the things that I love to do, and all the things that I did with Music Express and more. So and I didn't want to just recycle my old stuff. I think I want to be new and be creative and being offering stuff that's contemporary and now. And, so the only way I could do that, basically the only opportunity available to me, was to do it myself. So I just decided that I would do this, and I'm not trying to be everything to everyone. It's not a full curriculum that everything is covered, at least not now.
Not yet.
Maybe it will grow to that as we go on, but mostly right now, it's an online resource. So hopefully it will really help teachers during this time and beyond. It's a subscription series that you subscribe to. It's only $100, and you get we release material 6 times a year, and it's full of songs and lessons and choreography videos and accompaniment tracks and performance tracks. We do a little bit of this, like you and I are doing. I've got a little section called JJ and Friends, in which I interview friends of mine who are in the industry that maybe can help the teachers do things. I do things called a couple of motivational things, one for kids called Finding Your Place in the Choir, and one for teachers called Preaching to the Choir, where I tell you everything you already know and you just agree with me. And
we need reminders, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's our moniker is I want it to be more than just music. It's important to me to use music to teach character and history and geography and so many other things. And so our moniker is teaching children to like music, like themselves, and like each other. And so we're writing a lot of materials that are character building, we hope. We do a whole section called Songs for a Brighter World, which are original songs by me and my friends, which are hopefully upbeat or at least meaningful to kids to help teach a lesson about character. We do a section called Just Sing, which is pop and show tunes, current ones. The nice thing about a virtual thing like this is that something comes up in a new Disney movie, you can grab it. Like we just published Dynamite, the biggest song ever, for a long time. Well, we can do that quickly we can be kind of agile in a program such as this. And we even include a couple of musicals. We wrote a little musical called Cookies this year, which is all little kids play cookies, and they're like snickerdoodles, and they're like Oreos, and they're all very nervous because they find out that they're going to be sent to a cookie exchange. And they're going to be separated from their batch. And they really just want to be with cookies that are just like them. But of course they find out.
I hope it's not a crummy musical.
Yeah. We do have a line in there about that's how the cookie crumbles or something like that. Every pun we could get in. We got it.
I love that. Kids love to dress up, and teachers and the parents, and be in a character. That's awesome. That's really fun.
Yeah. It's great. It's real fun. And more than anything, I don't think we're going to make a living doing this, but more than anything, as I have always just get most excited when I hear that teachers and kids have used my materials and that it has worked for them. And that to me that's so worth it. So,
yeah.
It's called well, if anybody wants to find out about it, they have to go to jjandmeinc.com. JJ and Me is some like clothing designer or something.
Okay. I'll put the link when I post this. I'll put it in the descriptive, and we'll have that link there, and people can read it when they go and watch the video, and that'll always be there. Teaching.
It's kind of fun.
Oh, wait, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying it's kind of funny because during this pandemic, I can't really go anywhere. So I've been doing it. I live on a ranch in Northern California. And so I've been making the buildings in the ranch. I pretend that they're studios. So I've got Studio B, which is my barn. I got Studio C, which is this old rundown cottage that hardly has electricity, but I just make it up good. I just pretend it's sort of like Luke Skywalker.
People don't need to know that. It's just impressive. I'll be in Studio B. I'll be with you in Studio C. Yeah, I mean, come on.
That's what I do. It's fun.
And you tell us where you live again. Where do you live? Where do you live again?
I live outside a little town called Weed, California. Okay. Yeah, just at the greater Weed area. Yeah, like marijuana. It's sorry, but that's how it's spelled. By Mount Shasta.
Like dandelions. Okay. Yeah, by Mount Shasta. It's God, I've not been there. I've seen lots of pictures, but I hope to get there and see that beautiful area. I love Northern California. I love Washington, Oregon. All of that in the Northwest is just amazing.
It's kind of funny. There's a real enclave up here. We've got Roger Emerson lives about 15 minutes from me. Kirby Shaw lives about an hour from me. Audrey Snyder lives a couple hours from me. So we've got a little club up here. I don't know. Yeah. It is beautiful. And it's a great place to quarantine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, I have one big final question.
Mhm.
What gets you up in the morning? What drives you? What gives you energy? Why do you do what you do every day?
That is a big question. I think for me, as a performer, I always had felt such a privilege and an honor of having an audience. And I took that privilege and honor very seriously. And so I worked hard at it so that they're giving up their time and they're giving up their energy and their ears and their eyes and listening to me or watching me. And I wanted to make sure that I was giving them something valuable that was worthy of their attention. I feel that very much same thing as a teacher. Those kids or those students, whether they be adults or kids, they're giving me their time, they're giving me their attention. And I see that as a huge privilege. And I want to, I take that responsibility very, very seriously. And I don't know, maybe today it's because of, like, our new president has just spoken. And, he said, you use your power by your example or something like that. I want to be as I get older and go through this chapter 3 of my life, I want to use the power of audience to be a good example for people. And it gets me excited when I think that I can write a song or do a dance or give a speech or whatever that might just make people discover the better parts of themselves as children or as adults. And I honestly get up every morning thinking that this is the role that I hope I can play now. I have an audience, whether it's online or in live, and I take them seriously. And although it can be fun, I want it to be making the world better.
Yeah, meaningful. Yeah, I've watched you teach. I'm not kidding you. You are the most passionate person ever. No matter the situation, you will turn that situation around, make it a teaching thing, especially if you have kids. And even the teachers and the adults, you will turn it around and go, we have to make it better. Whatever's happening right now in our world, we have to make it better in these 4 walls or in this park or whatever it is that you're doing. There's such passion and it's so contagious. People, if they ever work with you, they just, it's contagious. And I know that's what's going to be when they look at JJ and me and they look at your curriculum and they look at what you're offering. It's contagious. It's going to be joyful, which I believe that is number one. If you're going to do this, then do it with joy. And but it's just full of heart and teaching and community. If people want to know about you, look at what you're presenting here with this company and with the product, because they'll see you. You're very visible and all that. And you have the biggest heart in the whole world of anybody I know.
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely. Well, you're
like
awesome. I thank you for
like
joining me today. It goes kind of quickly, but I'm really excited about your new product, and I'm gonna do what I can to tell people about it. I'm excited. I've looked at it online. It's great. I think it's just going to develop and grow. And it's great that you can do that. So thank you. You're an inspiration to so many people, thousands of people. You're an inspiration to, and especially me. So thanks for sharing your heart and sharing your time.
Thank you, Greg.
Okay. We'll see you soon. Thanks.
All right. Bye.